Developed by Midway San Diego and published by Midway Games, it's Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder!
Released originally in 1999 for arcades and later that same year for the Sega Dreamcast, as well as for the Nintendo 64 and PlayStation in early 2000, and for Windows PCs in 2001. However, today's review is based off the Midway Arcade Treasures 3 running on the Xbox, but it's also available for PlayStation 2 and GameCube. Hydro Thunder isn't your standard arcade racing game. Instead of cars, you race speedboats across a different variety of tracks labeled from easy, medium, and hard. But is it any good? Let's find out first with the good. My favorite thing about Hydro Thunder is the presentation. For example, the announcer alone perfectly embodies what Hydro Thunder is.
Damn the torpedoes!
It's just absolutely over the top and absurd and crazy, and I love that about it. This also reflects the gameplay itself, primarily the track designs. You've got everything from your standard beginner tracks like Thunder Park, which is some sort of water-filled arena thing, to the more absurd tracks like a destroyed New York City in the New York Disaster track, with the Coast Guard yelling at you for racing while they're trying to save people. To probably my favorite track in the entire game, Nile Adventure, which is a secret unlockable track that you get for placing first in the medium tracks. It's easily the longest track in the entire game, clocked in around 3 minutes or so, but don't be fooled. It's not just some Egyptian-themed track. It gets absolutely crazy at certain segments. You go from racing through your typical Egyptian-themed kind of thing like you would expect with the name it's given, to racing through what seems like time and space itself, and it's wonderful. With that said though, there are plenty of other secrets as well, like other tracks to race, different unique and secret boats to unlock, like the mini Titanic, to my personal favorite, the Chum Digger.
You're crazy! Chum Dinger!
But not only that, the tracks themselves are filled with plenty of secret routes and paths to take as well. And honestly, you'll absolutely need to abuse these if you plan on aiming for first place. Hydro Thunder is a solid arcade racer, but be warned, it is also an extremely challenging one. You'll be fighting for first place pretty much on every track in the game right to the end or the final lap. And in order to abuse a lot of these secrets on the tracks and go for first place, you'll have to definitely sink your teeth into different track designs by constantly hitting ramps with your boost and remembering where on the track to boost correctly. However, you can also abuse some tricks as well. For example, you'll have access to a boost jump ability, which you can perform by holding down the left trigger and pressing A in succession very quickly while having boost enabled. Kind of reminded me of Crazy Taxi 2's Crazy Jumping. You can also use the Boost Start ability by holding down each trigger in succession to the 3, 2, 1 countdown at the start of the race for a short boost in speed. But with all the boosting and other craziness, not everything is perfect. So now let's discuss the bad. Starting things off, Hydro Thunder does suffer from a lot of clipping issues. Whether you're clipping through walls a bit while hitting them, or the camera itself is going beneath the water or through walls as well, clipping is a bit of an issue. However, easily the most bizarre issue is the frame rate. When I was originally planning to cover this game, I decided I'd cover it on the Xbox as opposed to the Dreamcast, since component cables look much clearer overall than deposit cables for recording, and I've yet to purchase or set up a VGA connection to my Dreamcast. But for whatever reason, despite the Xbox being much more powerful in terms of overall hardware, this version of the game suffers from immense frame dips. One moment it's running a solid 60, another moment it's doing slow motion. Meanwhile, the Dreamcast version runs a solid 60 without any frame rate issues as far as I can tell. But not only that, things get even more bizarre with the Xbox version, or more specifically the Midway Arcade Treasures 3 version. Normally the section on the left here has an option to save your game, as you can see on screen, but with the Xbox version, or the Midway Arcade Treasures 3 version, all it has is a leaderboard option. So of course I figured maybe the game just autosaves. So after placing first place through easy and the medium courses and spending hours playing through it all, and finally unlocking the hard courses, I decided to take a break and shut the console off for a bit. Sure enough, after starting to back up, I lost all my progress. But other than all that, honestly, the only actual issue I have with the game itself would be the weird rubber banding at times. I feel like at times it was non-existent, other times I'd be fighting for first place right to the very end of the course. But with all that said, now it's time I give the opinion. Despite my issues with the Xbox Midway Treasures version of the game, Hydro Thunder itself and on the Dreamcast is still an incredible arcade racing game with plenty of its own unique charm. It's the perfect kind of game to pick up and play on the side or play with a friend. It has plenty of insane courses to choose from and boats to unlock, with plenty of challenge as well. But with that said, now it's time I give the rating. I give Hydro Thunder a Chin Chew out of 10.